What's up, everybody? I'm Ben.
And I'm Hurley.
And this is round 3 of the Seektag League Spring 2021, where 6 teams will be competing in the ultimate game of stealth to become
the sneakiest sneaks in all the land.
The winners will be crowned
the ultimate sneaks.
It's gonna be legendary.
That's right, and we've got all this coming up.
In Seektag, you get points if you can spot another player's number without getting seen. The Seektag League is a sneaky tournament with teams of 1 or 2 attempting to score as many points as possible across 6 games.
Okay, Kingpin Super is going to be a completely different challenge for our players today. I mean, let's face it, so far they're used to relatively compact arrangements of checkpoints. Today, we're throwing that out completely. That is old news now.
This is a beast.
This is a beast.
Yeah.
This is completely different. And why? Because the checkpoints are so spread out. So we know that Dixie doesn't like playing in compact arenas. Mm-hmm. So this should suit Dixie.
It should, and Nav likes moving slowly. I wonder if he'll speed things up a little bit in this game.
Well, I think Nav might be forced to speed things up. In fact, any of the players might be forced to actually move around a bit more if they want to go for checkpoints. But let's remember, they don't have to go for checkpoints. That is one strategy.
But spots, I think, are going to be limited in this game because the arena is so big. People are going to be very spread out, so it really is a change of tactics when we're dealing with these bigger arenas.
Yeah, and what might happen is actually you're struggling to almost bump into people enough in order to even have the chance to get spots.
Yeah.
All right, so all that remains is to see what on earth the players are going to do with this huge space. This should suit Dixie very well. We know Dixie doesn't like compact game. It should suit Nav. The other players and teams, we have absolutely no idea.
No.
Let's do this. Boom, here we go, game 3, Kingpin Super.
This is massive. This arena is huge.
Yeah.
They have so much different terrain to cover.
It's very difficult to get it across, actually, how different this is from what we've just seen in game 2.
We've gone from checkpoints being literally on top of each other to now being so spread out. The teams and all the players are just going to have to
I mean, look at Flying Fish. They're looking at the map. They're pointing in different directions.
Yeah.
I don't think they know where they are.
They have no idea.
But I think they're basically having to figure
and
this out.
don't know straight out of the gate with a tag on a checkpoint.
Well, that's what we want. That's what we want to see. Goodness me.
They must have been right next to it then, unless they're very fast.
Very, very fast. So Flying Fish trying to figure out, I think they're heading for 3SV and they're trying to figure out how to get there. Going what looks like the long way round, actually, as Nav walks in, also towards 3SV.
Oh, who's that?
That looks to me like Josie Doe of Don't Know. Nav with the sun.
Oh.
The sun behind him again, always tactical with the... Because that's very difficult.
Do you think he's thinking about the sun? Do you think he's actually thinking about the sun?
No, I don't think so, but
I wouldn't put it past him, to be honest.
I wouldn't put it past him, but he also didn't know that Josie Doe was going to be there. So I think what that does do, though, is it makes it very difficult for Don't Know to actually even see.
Yeah, that is true.
There.
That is true.
So for whatever reason, it's ended up that way round.
So take note, guys. Use the sun.
Use the sun if you can. I mean, maybe he did think about that, and that was why he was going to go in towards 3SV that way.
Yeah, maybe.
Actually, I've just noticed Dixie is actually using Nav's old horn back up on that southern kind of raised walkway there, presumably hoping to pick people up as they try and cross this huge space.
Sure.
From one side to the other, which might be a great strategy.
Flying Fish here, trying to navigate towards which checkpoint do you think?
3SV.
3SV there.
Definitely, and it looks like they've actually just
seen someone.
Somebody's up ahead. Somebody's up ahead here. There's a kid lying on the lounger thing here, having a great time.
Nice.
Got skates on.
Skates on, yay.
That's a good day, that.
You could use roller skates if you wanted to. You could wear them.
Is that an advantage or a disadvantage? I wonder how that would go.
Zoom in and out.
So they're creeping along here, and I think they're looking on the left here. It looks like
That's definitely, that is G-ball.
That looks like a G-ball to me. We've got a replay here from Nav, who actually looks like they're looking at G-ball from a different angle.
This just shows how far out they are.
And they're all converging on the same sort of point.
They're 919 if you're playing.
No, it's just 3 numbers that you got to be like, right, you can't guess them.
How do you know who's in? Like,
Well, does that mean it was 919? Because I've just put that in.
Whoa, okay then. Okay, so Nav has actually got chatting to some people who've asked if there are 919 of you. And that is the number that Nav just put in for G-Balls. You can feel pretty confident about that one.
That's good.
What do you think about that?
I think that if the general public want to tell you numbers on vests, that's perfectly within the rules. Excuse me.
What is this strategy?
This stealthy move from Jeeble.
That is amazing. That's probably one of the best things I've seen in this game
This
today.
is straight out of a Pink Panther episode.
It really is.
This is.
Look at this guy.
Where's Jeeble gone?
Oh my god, it's brilliant.
So Jeeble has actually used some people as cover. It looks like he just started chatting to those two people, and of course has absolutely hooned it out of there now.
He's disappeared.
Jeeble's absolutely vanished. They're way too late.
Did
trying to
Flying
catch him.
Fish get his number?
It didn't look to me like they actually, after all of that. Do you know what? Flying Fish in this game so far are quite distracted. I don't think they have a plan.
Jeeble is in the lead there, so he obviously got some spots out of them.
And look at this. So yeah, okay. It looked to me like Dixie was looking at something there.
I figured he'd probably
Definitely distracted because Dixie is right next to Setter here. Actually hasn't logged a tag on Setter. I don't know if Dixie's actually was on the way when they bumped into Immy there.
It has been sidelined. Dixie needs to go and get the checkpoint.
But that probably will happen, I should think, in the next few seconds. But Dixie and Immy there, I mean, Dixie, yeah, there you go, Dixie tag Setter.
Good.
So it was actually on the way that they spotted Immy. And of course, if you think that somebody might have seen you, there is no reason not to run that person down and try and counter spot by getting their number in return.
Yeah, it's really important to do that.
So Flying Fish having a mare there trying to figure out where to go next. It doesn't look like they have a plan. And Nav, we see here in top right, Nav is actually back by Jungie in the valley, just like in game 2. A bit of a slower pace on this game. It really seems to me like all the teams are actually struggling to focus any sort of plan.
Yeah, I mean, they're so spread out. It's kind of, where do you go? What do? You need the spots. And when the players are so spread out, you're not getting the same spots that you normally get.
Well, you know what?
Having said that,
I was just about to say you're just not bumping into people, but
then you go.
Here's Nav genuinely bumping into.
Oh, and Nav's got no player. He rushed. He thought.
Yeah, actually.
He put the Numronga in. Numronga?
Numronga!
I can't even say it.
So that
Nav can't type it. I can't say it.
Okay, so Nav's picked up a no play. You can see by the red cross at the top left of Nav's screen.
That means he loses 5 points as well. That's important to say.
Absolutely, and he definitely switched 1s for 7s, I think, which it really seems like teams are struggling to get their brains on this game.
Yeah.
And Dixie's still haunting that southern walkway there. Is split up from Immy again now. Flying Fish are just running across the main square, and actually Dixie in line of sight of them there. Maybe a bit far away to get the numbers at this point, but it looks like not for long if Flying Fish continue on this line.
Dixie does have a monocular, remember that. So they have, they can see further than the naked eye.
Yeah, and it's also very deceptive because on camera here, things look really far away. And actually, your eyes can do such a good job of accounting for distance.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if they had been walking there, would Dixie have picked up on them?
Well, that is.
Because they really are drawing attention to themselves.
They were drawing attention. It might be the panic of having to go all of that distance. Yeah. Might be forcing them to feel like they need to run when actually maybe that's not the strat here. Maybe they'd be better off not even trying to go to these checkpoints. Flying Fish are sitting in the haunt overlooking the valley, which of course is completely empty because everyone's so spread out. I think they're stuck with a small game tactic in a big game.
Yeah.
That's just not gonna be super effective here, I don't think.
It's daunting though. You want to get to the checkpoints because you want something to do, because if you're just walking around and not getting any spots, it fills you with panic.
Yeah, it does. You think you're not going to achieve anything. I think maybe patience is a virtue here.
Patience is a virtue, yeah.
So this game, being in such a large arena, it's a super arena here, combination of 2 smaller arenas. That's why it's so big. And as such, the game is actually running longer than it would in any other single arena.
You do get more time. Oh, here we go. Teams bumping into teams.
Or is it just me, or has Don't Know been bumping into everybody?
Yeah, and teams are always bumping into each other.
It does happen a lot. In this case, I don't know if Don't Know saw... Let me get this lined up. Hang on. Let me take another run up to that.
What don't you know?
I don't know if Don't Know saw Sig or not.
Oh, well, see, this is another... So, Sig needs to potentially keep her...
Keep her distance,
Keep her
perhaps?
distance, yeah, because...
Actually, I think
That
they've
is a
made that
bonus.
decision now to actually send Marconius ahead because they definitely saw Marconius.
Marconius
Sig-
got both players of Don't Know, but Don't Know did not get Sig's number.
It's like a sort of tongue twister of some kind. So Dixie heading back over towards 3SV while Flying Fish try to, square that circle kind of thing. Actually, there we go. Josie Doe spotting
They
Sig
have
there.
got the counter
Bonkers
spot.
spotting Sig, of course. So Flying Fish may have had an advantage there, but it didn't come off.
Teams can split up. You don't have to run around together.
Do you think they know that? Has anybody told them that?
No, well,
I mean, we got Jeeble and Dixie tied for first here at the top of the leaderboard. I don't think we really saw that coming as Flying Fish,
Saw somebody peeking
Marconius
around
is
the
out
corner there
ahead
a minute
here.
ago.
They're splitting up slightly here, I think. I think their presumption is that
do
more
it.
other players have seen Marconius. Working up towards Jungie, and Marconius there just saying that he thinks that he might have seen somebody peeking out.
fills me with dread, this whole valley. I mean, there's so many vantage points, and it's just... and there you go. There's G-Ball, just casually lurking.
You know what? I was starting to wonder where Jeeble was in all this, and that wonder has been satisfied quite thoroughly by finding him just standing in the dark,
Right there.
just creeping around. Of course he is. Of course it was Jeeble. Like, who else could it ever be? Oh dear, as Dixie runs in to tag 3SV, and actually there's Immy. So they've met up again after bumping into each other on literally the other side of the whole map.
919.
There's Marconius.
Cells.
Yeah, Marconius sharing Jeeble's number with Sig there.
So Flying Fish are down to the bottom because of those spots that they've just
They missed out.
endured.
Yeah. And Jeeble actually taken a bit of a tumble, and that must mean that Jeeble's points were because he'd seen Flying Fish earlier on. Of course, that is no longer counting as they've just seen him back. Dixie and Immy seem to be forming a sort of ad hoc team. They're no threat to each other, of course. They've counter-spotted each other. They bumped into each other over by Seta. There's no reason they can absolutely collaborate if they want to.
Totally, if they want to. I was just thinking, if you got a really good score, wouldn't you just run off and hide?
Well, if you've managed to bag a really good score, you could run off and hide. But the thing you have to remember is that there will be a closing checkpoint called. Now, the closing checkpoint is always one of the game checkpoints. You don't know which it's going to be, and you have to get there at the end before the time runs out in order to keep any points.
Yeah, and on these bigger arenas, you have a minute to get there, and you could be you could be further than a minute away.
You absolutely could. The fear is real here.
Especially on these beast super arenas.
The Kingpin Super Arena is very, very large. So yeah, what could easily happen here is if you put yourself on one side of this massive arena and the checkpoint that's called for closing is on the other side, you may not be able to get there. So around this time, teams are going to have to start thinking about where they want to be positioned for closing.
Yeah.
You have to start making some sort of plan. Whereas actually, for example, looking at Flying Fish here, we keep sort of, pounding on Flying Fish here, but they're heading out to the absolute fringe. Whereas Dixie, basically heading towards the center.
They have made their way back in.
Yeah. Here we go, Flying Fish basically getting lost again.
They're
Getting
back
lost.
here again.
Getting lost by the gas containers.
Don't get stuck in the forest of mirrors.
Don't do it. And they're heading the long way round to Seta, which is on the very far edge of the arena.
Listen, that's a gameplay that could totally work in their favour.
But of course, if 3SV is called as the closing checkpoint, then Flying
then
Fish
they
are going to
far away.
Either they are going to sweat, or they're going to be in serious trouble and not make it back.
But if it's Seta, boom.
That is a good point. Maybe it's a gamble. I mean, if it is Seta that's called as closing, 1 minute 45
as far
left.
as if I was near a checkpoint and it was nearing the end of the game, I would be hedging my bets and sort of hanging around just on the off chance. You got a 1 in 3 chance that it's going to be the checkpoint that you're near. I would stay.
I mean, you do.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that wouldn't it be nice if any checkpoint could be called and you'd be okay?
Yeah.
And on that note, I mean, Nav is actually also heading in the direction of the center, and Jungi being in the middle is a good bet for that. Nav is heading in that direction too. That probably is considered if we know anything about Nav. I think Nav is consciously putting himself in a good position for closing.
Jeeble just tagged Zeta.
Jeeble just tagged Setter.
Yeah, literally moments ago.
So the issue for Flying Fish is that Jeeble's already counter-spotted as far as Flying Fish are concerned. So
Yeah, okay, so it's not really a threat.
not a threat or an advantage for Flying Fish right now, who are in a really sticky situation here. Now looking for cover as they've run out and tagged Setter. We've got
44 seconds to go.
44 seconds.
They just need to hang in there with their 6 points.
Right, hang in there at 6 points. But more to the point, at the other end of the leaderboard there with Dixie at the absolute top.
Dixie has thrived in this spread out arena as they said they
would.
They would.
Absolutely
they
expected.
predicted.
With 20 seconds left, Dixie's going to try and complete the checkpoints to match up with the other two teams watching here, and tag Jungi. 12 seconds, 11 seconds. I mean, there's no time to be sneaky here, Dixie.
Yeah, go for it. Go, 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 go. Boom.
And with 5 seconds remaining, there's the tag being put into the app by Dixie, and we're into closing. So
It's great tactics there. I loved that.
And so we know Jungi now has been called as the closing checkpoint, which for Dixie is an absolute miracle. Nav is at the bottom of the valley and is heading up towards Jungi as well, really not far. And actually, Flying Fish, they have got so lucky in a way that it's not 3SV.
Yeah, right.
3SV, we would have been seeing Flying Fish absolutely undone.
Dixie has 19 points. That is massive. Let's just listen to what these two players have to say.
I got chatting to, I saw you with binoculars when you were all the way over past 3SV. Yeah. And I got chatting to the guys next to you that were like, are there 919 of you? And I was like, I've just seen that number.
So what do you think about this? You know, is members of the public giving you information fair game?
Yeah, totally. Total fair game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only rules are don't make up people's numbers.
Well, but I mean, if you do, you get penalised. Right?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, you mean for the public? What if a member of the public deliberately gives you a bogus number?
Well, that would just be really rude, wouldn't it?
I think you have to wonder, don't you, whether to trust them or not.
Yeah, listen, I'll take a number. I would take a number.
So if they said it, you would just trust them.
Yeah, and they're not going to lie to me. Why would they lie? But yeah, I think if someone says they went that way and you run that way, like, yeah, you can totally you can use the general public as far as I'm concerned.
Right on. So, okay, we've got our players walking into the closing checkpoint here. Looks like we've got Imi, Dixie already back there. Nav's walking in. Flying Fish, thankfully, have made it 15 seconds. It looks like they're going to make it back. So all teams making it back.
That's great.
Goodness me. Wow, that was so different. I don't think I was prepared for how different that was going to be.
No, it really, really is different. The huge arena just changes everyone's play style and just changes how you get your points.
Do you know
massively.
What? The thing I saw there just again and again is teams basically panicking.
Yeah.
You see people going, are we going this way? Are we going this way?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. People going one way and then turning around and going straight back. And just like that, we are done at Kingdom. Kingdom is over for this league. Next time, it's Loop.
I love Loop.
So if you want to check out any more of our content, go to YouTube, search for Seektag. You can find us on there.
And if you want to play yourself, you can go to Seektag.com, where there are loads of videos about the rules, the arenas, and the magical app is free.
It's free. You can use the Seektag Gameplay App for your own games. And if you want to come along to play our games, you can come into London and join our free...
Come meet us.
Join our free gameplay meetups.
Come play with us.
Come out and play.
So yeah, that's it. That's all for today.
I threw you that, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Well, until next time.
Goodbye.
Stay sneaky.